All right, so listen. Which one was the worst one? Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, or the female remake?
I didn't
Ghostbusters
see
2?
Ghostbusters the remake, so I would say 2.
Yeah,
2 is pretty
Ghostbusters
bad.
2
2 is pretty
very
bad.
One is pretty bad.
I see
don't know
what you're
about
doing
that.
there.
I
I
bought
see
it
what
on-
you're doing here.
I bought it on Blu-ray because like I was like, oh my god, Ghostbusters, like super fucking cheap. And I bought it on Blu-ray one time for like $7, and then like months later, Brittany and I were like, oh, let's watch it. And we turned it on, and we were like, we couldn't even finish it. It was so bad. But anyways,
I mean, 2. I will say 1 is not like it's not good, but 2 is worse.
yeah. I
2
mean,
is really painful.
yeah.
It was good for its time. It was pretty clever. But
What is Blu-ray? Oh man, Rosin, are you still using Datamax? Betamax? I said Data. Betamax?
I know
Anyways.
it has not aged well. You're right.
All right,
Um,
so let's go.
All right. So after hearing about them having the shallow graves and all that to the south, Laszlo will say, that makes sense. Absurgo. I can't say his name now, so I'm gonna say it.
Orsugo.
Arsuga. Now I'm thinking of
No,
Surgo.
go.
Orsugo.
Orsugo.
Arsugo.
Orsugo.
Arsugo
Just think, like,
mentioned.
or, and then you're suing somebody, and then you're going.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or Sugo.
It's like I could fuck his wife or Sugo.
The one time I didn't want to oversleep. Oh. Arsugo did mention something to the south of here, a forest, a clearing. The land was beautiful, but that's it. My question is, and I'll look to Oscar and I'll say, Lander spoke about fiendish ties with devils.
It's what pushed him away from a relationship. Yeah.
They don't know how they got all those people. They were just kidnapped out of their bed, taken miles away. That sounds like magic to me.
Yes, it does sound like magic.
And I don't think Gish know those abilities.
No, they don't. Not en masse, not like that.
Okay. Well, the good thing is we don't have to deal with the Chosen.
So, angels and devils.
I didn't even put those two together. Yes, it seems angels, and they're dealing with celestial forces.
I dislike that. I
It would make sense why one of them was kidnapped and brought into another plane. And I look to Cadus and I go, Cadus, weren't you there at the temple?
I was there at the temple. I watched what happened. A giant slime-like creature came and collected Rayron. For some transgressions I don't fully understand. It came and flopped on top of him, for lack of better phrasing. And then it dissipated like ice thrown on the ground in a hot day. It just was gone. And then the other one, Ilan. Ilan pulled out a chest from nowhere. He had one, and it appeared out of nowhere. He opened it up. It was a swirling, it was a white material in there and a dark one, yes. He jumped in and I'm not sure which one he intended to fall into. It looked like he was trying to jump into the white one, but He certainly fell through the dark, inky one.
You don't get a choice.
You are familiar.
I was given the same chest by what I believe to be the Arbiter.
It's Arbiter.
It seems that you are fine, at least for the ritual purposes, but Cadus, I want you to know that if at any time you change your mind, I will find a way to free you if it becomes a burden. Oh my god, you look like you're from a 1998, like, what are those old movies to video games where they would have like the guy on screen?
Yeah. I don't even remember what those are called. Yeah.
I'll look to Oscar and I'll say, Oscar, when we get to the keep, I would like to try to speak with the Arbiter.
He might be pissed off.
I want to know why he did this to me and what his plans are of me.
Well, I promised Elijah that I would reach out to him if I ever had to fight an angel. Didn't say anything about a god. So let me know.
Oh, I wouldn't fight a god. Are you kidding me? That's moronic. Who would challenge a god?
I'm not saying I'd challenge. I'm saying if you get yourself in so much shit that you're about to die to a god, let me know and I'll at least come die with you.
Don't die with me. My time's been long due for a while now.
All right, well, this is far more depressing than the lighthearted joke about fighting a god that I was trying to achieve here, so,
You just mentioned the keep. The time temple.
No, not that keep, but the time temple,
No,
yes.
you mentioned the time temple.
Yes, with
Rayron,
the
the
slime.
Yes.
That was how Rayron left the temple. But when we first entered it, Rayron was already there. There was a creature that came. What was its name? Phaedril. It was an imp. Or
Checks.
oh, you succeeded. You got an 18 with 5.
Okay.
Before, yeah.
All right. Just my jaw will drop when I hear imp. Just.
I remember being sorely disappointed.
Yeah, you should be. It's a devil.
I'm remembering more. Oh, God. There's so many thoughts. So many thoughts about them. 2. Do you know who 2 is?
No.
Vigil is a relatively isolationist place to live. We don't generally get involved in others' affairs. But that doesn't mean we don't look to what's happening around us. We did have a few, I guess, spies, for lack of better phrasing, that existed in nearby towns. We had some in Hodgwen. Actually, there were 3 stationed there. They were executed by one of one's closest allies. A short, burly human by the name of 2. It's another one. Her name's 3. She inevitably found her way to aid Hodgwen more. This was known by Octavia after she died. 2 slaughtered the spies, including a young girl. Slaughtered them in their home because they worship Lady Aravel.
That's what Jaeger meant. I let people believe what they want to believe.
I'm sorry that it's coming to you in patches, but I'm only just realizing more stuff that I knew and that I knew. Something tells me that there's a battle that needs to be fought in the West for the freedom of the people living in Yovance and those that would like to separate themselves from it. But there very well may be a battle here as well. Very well may be a battle here as well. Bad phrasing, DM!
It seems that there was one here. There is one here as well. Anyways, I'll look to Oscar and say, Oscar, Rayron might not need to be a citizen of Amulta anymore. I know that when he left, he could have returned. But this seems... devils?
It's Rayron's god that ascended around the time that the dead walked.
As far as his citizenry in Amulta, that's not my call, but a report should absolutely be generated. But that's not something that can be done purely on hearsay. I don't mean to insult on that. It's protocol.
I'm not insulted. His status in your home means nothing to me. It's just
Fair
a
enough.
deeper realization of the person I chose to spend a considerable amount of time with. I wasn't sure before. I was still chewing up on the inside about what it is that we needed to do, the people of Vigil needed to do. We're allies with Valerian, tentative allies with Valerian, a nation that outlaws the worship of Lady Aravel, the only goddess that we openly worship consistently across all of our populace. It's decided their force is too great to easily fight against and win. Our defenses are down, our numbers are down, our morale is down. To stay in the wake of their expansionistic and violent tendencies, the people will fall and they'll die. It's time the people of Vigil find a new home. Seems like long before, we set out against the imperialistic mindset of the people of Paradel around us. And now, once again, we must... That was a strange thing for me to say.
But not inaccurate.
I'm sorry. The people of Vigil must move on.
If you're making this statement, Cadus, you know what it implies. You're ready to take up leadership with them. You didn't want to be a leader.
I will lead the people of Vigil. I am no leader to Yovance. They owe me nothing. And I do not know them or their ways.
Well, it seems we're going to have to find a man named Erwin if you want to take up the mantle.
Erwin's a good man. He is. He is a good man. Erwin is a good man.
He's the sword keeper now, from what we were told. And leadership is passed on by a sword, I believe.
The sword chooses who can carry it and who can wield it.
That may be a requirement from the people of Vigil.
It will help you. Though I will be honest, our Amulta's dying, Cadus. Every day, Yovance becomes a more and more of a cancerous wound on our side, and the Parendel is breaking through. We only have so much time that we can help you, but we will help you as much as we can.
Sounds like your fight. I'll aid in the ways that I've promised, but I swear no allegiance to Amulta. I never
Don't.
will.
That's understood. When all is said and done, you said the gate is a place for people to be eternally tormented.
A gate is a place that can lock people in. My question is, a place that's adequately designed to lock people out. What's your point?
That sounds magical to me. And a misuse of magic is something I've sworn to stand against. When the time comes,
Taste my rainbow.
when all is said and done, before you go back there to deal with the gate, let me know.
I will. Rena has an interest there as well. With how deeply embedded into the Parendel that it is believed these lopers, aliens, are set. She's under the impression that perhaps the gate is controlled by them as well.
The more I hear about these lopers, the more frustrated I am that I know nothing about how to fight them. Any knowledge you have on that, I would appreciate, because that is something I would like to understand for myself.
They can bend time and space. They do so with ease. They don't incant the way that a typical mage does. They just bend time and space. That is all that's understood so far, at least by myself.
Based on the way Ophios was behaving, I take it that it is not easy to tell when a loper is present. I assume that manipulation of
Ophios,
space.
he was an egg. Ophios in the Time Temple was regressed to the point of being before he was born. He's not human, as I'm sure you've learned, or Perrin, or anything of such. He became an egg. They head west to the Western Keep. It's in the mountains. I don't know the name of that keep, but it belongs to Valerian. Everything seems to be tied to them. After visiting that keep, they were able to somehow fix his state, return him to being a man again, though his memories seem to be lost. He's returned physically to his state, but perhaps being so young for so long made him lose part of who he was. I point this out because perhaps you can also find answers in that keep.
Actually, Jaeger told us about this keep. I believe this is the
Did.
keep he wanted to build the university. Or
Oh,
his
we
school.
should probably make sure that's safe before we throw...
Jaeger's a smart man. He wouldn't build it on anything that's dangerous.
I mean, I have known many...
Oh my god, Rena has an
Many.
aliens emote? That means I have an aliens emote. Oh my god, I have an aliens emote.
I have met many smart men who have built many a thing on many stupid places. Laszlo, intelligence doesn't mean every decision is going to be intelligent.
That's true.
I'm just saying, if there are answers to be found there, that might be a valuable use of our time.
Well, it seems, based off of what Ophios and Rena says, these temples can teleport you around. It was missing that one key piece, though.
The
We need to
banner.
figure that out.
It's the banner. That's
Faster.
it's not something that needs to be. It's just the banner was missing. That is the key, based on what Ophios was seeing and based on what I understood to be the case. It's the banner that's missing. The banner is the key. But
Wait, what banner are you speaking of?
the
Valerian
I
Banner.
believe it's the Valerian flag, based on where it was placed on the abandoned keep. I believe you were actually
There was a flag there.
there wasn't when we arrived.
There was when I did. I took it down. It was funny enough. I noticed one morning after I returned back there that it was a brisky morning. Wind was blowing, and so the flag of Paradel was waving, but it wasn't waving the way that you would expect a flag would. I went and investigated and saw that was because there was another banner or flag set into the wall behind it. It was strange to find a Valerian flag positioned there. It was majestic. It's beautiful. Greatest flag you've never seen. But nonetheless, it was there.
Well, that is a key. That banner, if it is placed correctly, will allow, and Laszlo, please correct me if I'm using any of this verbiage incorrectly, but it will allow you to transport
To the ether.
the contents of a room to the ether, that then allows you to transport out of the ether into another location on... What's this plane called again, Laszlo?
Prime material.
Material.
Prime material.
Paper. The paper.
No. That's something else
Moving
entirely.
on. So
The prime material plane.
he says, so there must be some special design to their flag that has it hold some arcane runes inside of it. Their flag must have been carefully crafted to have these runes to act as an activating feature.
Yes, either runes or woven in some forms of... There's other ways to weave in magic to an item, as I'm sure you know better than most, Laszlo. But...
Seems like the flag needs to be investigated further. He'll actually produce from his pack the flag.
Identify.
Oscar will hold his hand out for it and see if he passes it along. Does he pass it along?
Ooh, I barely made that.
Barely made that.
You detect no magic. As he produces it and you immediately start casting Identify, he says, it's the flag of an ally. You don't destroy such things or disrespect them. I had it properly folded and stored. It actually was on my person because it didn't seem appropriate to make Perrin soldiers carrying it.
Fair enough. May I?
It's
hands to
not
you.
magic.
Yeah, it's not his flag.
Yeah.
He just hands it to you.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oscar clasps it with respect. He's very clearly handling it with respect, and
You guys
he'll
both have
kinda
different
hold it
customs,
for-
but it's not you know.
yeah, there's still a respect there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Leftover right. And then you turn it when you're handing it. Come on, color guard stuff. Come on, guys.
You stick your penis between the folds and have some whiskey.
Okay,
That's only if there's a bagel in front of it,
I
Scott.
wasn't that country,
cantaloupe.
man.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
I
Ross.
spend a minute. This takes a minute in this game. So I sit there and I focus, and after a
Anno,
minute,
spit on it. All right, Anno. Yeah.
Don't do that.
after a minute, I look up and I go, "There's no magic on this at all.
Not woven in, not anything. Just
No magic." But remember, I can't sense this Loper magic, and it seems
Right.
that the Arbiter is entwined with this type of magic.
Ophios can see this. That frustrates me.
You realize what you're suggesting.
Yes.
That would mean that to some degree, the chosen of Valerian have themselves an understanding or a kinship with Lopers. I truly don't believe this to be the case.
I don't think that's not what my intentions is. My intentions is that the god that ascended, the god that now calls himself the Arbiter, is linked somehow to the Lopers because his magics are derived from that.
And mole magics, more specifically. That's an interaction that we haven't talked about in detail yet, but that is connected at every point.
And if he ascended, that means he was mortal. Which means he could even be of that race, for all I know.
The Arbiter could be a Loper, is what you're saying? Or could be a mole.
He was. He's no longer. If he ascended, he is no longer.
Fair enough. Yeah, that, you know what? Fair enough. That's a very reasonable point, but just for the sake of argument, the person still exists, even if it's only in memory now.
If you do have a means to contact this god, something that is rather unique, considering how many years I've worshipped Lady Arraville Darkeyes and, I suppose lifetimes that I've worshipped Lady Arraville Darkeyes and never once heard her respond.
That's me and Lady Winifred. The Arbiter chose me. I didn't choose him, it seems. We'll see. Maybe he did speak to me about giving me power that would help me to my goal. Maybe that's what he was trying to do, and I just mistook what his gift was.
Laszlo,
Yes.
what was your goal in that moment?
The Arcane Congress must fall.
Cadus, do you know what the Chosen's goal is?
They're building a kingdom. As far as I understand, they're building a kingdom. I understand you're leading with a question here, perhaps pertaining to the Arcane Congress. Nobody in these parts like the Arcane Congress. They come in from outside and impose rules that do not belong in a deer.
It's not the Arcane Congress. It's power structures. They're starting a kingdom in a land.
To be fair, though, I've done. Vigil has done that as well.
And whether or not Laszlo knew this at the time, we are seeking to do that in Yovance as well.
You think the Arbiter wants a rival to Peridot?
Not Peridot necessarily, just power structures. The current status quo, the place.
The idea is it's a fool's errand to try to make a kingdom here. It's surrounded by Peridot.
It's believed there was a curse that existed here. I spoke with the Chosen about this before. There's a curse that existed here that made it so no true government could last, but Visual seemed to stand against it with, I suppose, a degree of cost. Since the curse was lifted, the one that was binding the martyr here, it seems like that it's no longer true. The curse no longer exists. Leadership can reign without going mad, without its cost.
Seems there's another cost now.
And you believe that Vigil's structure has prevented that from happening to you?
What?
That Vigil's structure prevented Vigil from going through that?
We often changed positions. And it is said that those that ruled Vigil, leadership weighed heavily on their shoulders.
As it should. It should not be taken up to be fancied and for gold.
I think that this Arbiter is a force of disruption. I'm not a religious man. I don't understand it. I don't understand worship. I never have. It just, when you are raised and trained to deal with all things magical and fight them, you don't really have time to accept them into your life in that way, whether they're divine magics or otherwise. But I do understand strategy, at least to some degree. This seems like disruption. This seems like targeted agents being selected in order to cause disruptions.
Wait a second. He gave you that power, and this whole thing you're explaining. He also gave you a chest.
He did.
Yes.
Same as the chest that the Chosen had.
Yes.
We can assume so. And the one that Rena and Ophios has.
They have one as well, but who was given that chest there? Who would his agents be among that trio?
We don't know. We weren't told.
I think I know.
Hmm.
I am closely tied to death, it seems. Being able to call forth specters. One of them was raised to be an assassin. Someone tied to death. I would bet it's them.
He nods. Yondas.
Who?
Makes sense. Yondas.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's a fucking cold-blooded killer, man. You should see him the way he just fucking walks in. Sicka, 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 sicka. He kills all the bitches. He's like, you want a sandwich? Poison. Poison. Poison.
Interesting. Maybe that's why we didn't see him. He's so good. I think it was Ophios, if I had to guess.
Ophios.
Plus, it's a hell of a feat to survive being turned into an egg back into an adult.
It is.
I know why he chose me. I think he's not a force of destruction. I think he's a force of death. Of finality. You know why he would have picked me.
Oscar just nods.
But it is Rayron, a force of death.
Is he?
He led soldiers on the battlefield, but it's no more than General Jaeger did.
There's a difference in many leadership styles. How did he lead? Was he relentless? Was he merciful? What was he?
I don't know completely because I wasn't there, but I did receive reports about the Battle of Reed, the first one. They slaughtered every man to the last to try to dissuade the war from happening. It spurred more war. Then there was the conflict that happened on the Bridge of Herod. It was a deal, a gentleman's understanding. One would cross one way, the other way, and they would allow each other to pass. There was no need for bloodshed that day. Instead, they used the opportunity for a pincer tactic. Not everybody slaughtered, but certainly blood rained that day.
So he is a ruthless killer. I think
And
that
he feels
is
justified in the way that he does it because he is... One thing that he prides himself on, and speaking with him in all the ways that I did, my memory a little clouded on this, but I've spoken to him from different perspectives. He feels justified in his actions because he stays true to his word.
So he's a fool as well.
No. Cunning. He knows what to say because he knows how to stay within the wiggle room of the words chosen.
There is... When I call him a fool, I don't mean in wit. I mean in forethought. That kind of behavior catches up with you.
It seems to be happening now.
Yes, it does. It seems like he's paying the price of something. I don't know what a slime god is, but when we get back, I'll research it.
There was a thing that took place. This is the greatest aid I can provide for you in this scenario. In Hodgwen, there was a time around when the curse was lifted from their efforts to lift the curse. The rivers around Hodgwen were clogged with slime. It made it so the water was not accessible. And in exchange, when that happened, because the water wasn't as accessible, Hodgwen decided to ration out its water, its drinkable, clean water to its people, and use that to enforce them into an army. They intended to expand. These are the early markings of the war that we've discussed, right? So, I'm just piecing time together. Having Cadus's mind and how clean it is, and recollection of battle and time events and the understandings that Octavia had. It's a unique experience. Shortly after the martyr, or around when the martyr was risen, the slime came. The slime was eventually collected and removed from the river. Rumors being by horrifying creatures coming and scooping it and leaving. Creatures themselves not comprised by much more than slime. That happened around the time that the leadership of Hodgwen vanished.
Okay. So what was in this slime that was so valuable that a devil would make a deal with Rayron for it?
I have no idea. There's no way I could possibly understand.
Or what was generated in the slime that was valuable? There's a lot of magics that I don't understand from the mold time period.
Did you say the slime spoke when it took Rayron?
These are different slimes that I'm describing. I'm describing 3 different ones if my memory serves me correctly, but the one that took Rayron, it simply said to him, that said something.
It had sentience, though.
It did. And then it's glooped on top of him and evaporated.
And did these other slimes appear to have sentience?
There was the one that collected, there was the oozing creature that collected the slime out of the river. The slime in the river had no sentience. It was like a pollution. The ones that collected it were something else, something not from here. Different type of creature. In the meta, a lemur.
Mm-hmm.
In the meta. Google it. It's like Lemuer.
I know what they look like.
Yeah, they're gross. They're gross.
They're
very
melting
gross.
candles.
They're Magmar, if you guys know Pokemon.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll just look to Oscar and go, let's get some rest. Maybe the Arbiter can enlighten us on any more information. And I'll look to Cadus and I'll say, Cadus, I'm not against you being there if you wish to be there when I try to speak to him.
I would like to be there. Flash forward, you try to talk to him, he doesn't appear.
Yeah, I figured.
That didn't work out.
So I've been thinking over this day that we've been traveling. I'm thinking that the Arbiter is picking his champions or his chosen or his avatars or whatever. Me, I'm an arcane user. Rayron is a speaker, someone that uses his mouth and cunningness, and Ophios is a blade. You saw the blade appear out of nowhere. He is quite
all
literally.
All of you with a connection to the arcane. All of you. That is magic, what Ophios did. And do not forget Rayron was a Gish. And I don't think I need to explain why you have a connection to the arcane.
No, please.
By all means, if you'd like me to, we can lecture here for the next 3 hours. But no. It seems that magic is important. It seems that death is important. It seems from the other two that a lack of conscience is important. Now, from you, I know that that's not the case. You are the odd one out, Laszlo.
No, I'm not. When I did it, I didn't care.
And yet, here you are, sacrificing over 10 years of your life to do something else because you do regret it. You do have a conscience.
Yes, that's true. I don't know if that makes me special. I don't know what goes through Rayron's mind.
No.
You have more similar upbringing than I do with him.
Well, I'm not exactly an unbiased approach. The Venators and the Gish have quite a relationship.
They fuck.
The spear of the Venator.
Very complicated piece, but that's, separate issue. No, I wouldn't trust a Gish with my life 9 times out of 10. There are a few I would. In a similar way to how we understand the Arcane Congress. Strict magic, rules based around constraints, limitations, control. The Gish are not that, though there is some of that. Maltese magic is weird. It's always been weird. Gish are weird. In a way that is perfectly fine, but it affects you, how you interact with that. You interact by trying to adapt in battle to using everything at your disposal, including magics that you don't fully understand, as is the Amultese way. I suspect that Rayron has simply adapted to that in his lifestyle, taking every opportunity of everything he doesn't necessarily fully understand, but seeing the benefit in the moment and lacking foresight to actually understand the consequences of it.
You say that.
I do.
I mean, I'm sure you're right on that front, but that makes me think, why isn't the Arcane Congress here? They ain't but their nose immediately into new kingdoms. They set the groundworks early. I'll look to Cadus and go, how are you free, your men, free from the Arcane Congress? That monolith is no simple magic.
There's no magic that's greatly practiced in Vigil. There are a couple of simple practitioners, but it's nothing really powerful or worth a note. What you're describing the monolith being is an individual item as opposed to practitioners, and it lied dormant. First time it was ever being used, as far as I know. As for Valerian itself, the Arcane Congress did come through. It's known that they came through. They told us of it. Dealings went well. The Arcane Congress left satisfied, happy with the dealings, and nothing was amiss. There was an understanding that certain laws needed to be incorporated, and they were. So they did their task.
That's a problem, Oscar.
Why?
Because that means the Arcane Congress has their claws in on Valerian.
I'm sorry, but I don't think that you and I are on the same page anymore about Valerian, maybe.
Well, I was hoping that one day they would be an ally. If a war is coming, I would like for us to have as many people as we can.
Winter is coming.
I am not about to trade allies in a way that leads us from one monstrous empire to another, no matter how small.
And you feel that about
if
Valerian.
the reports are true, and he's going to look over at Cadus, and just kind of, he's giving kind of it's a look of like almost
Judgment.
questioning, but like no, it's questioning, like just trying to make his own judgment call on whether or not he actually trusts the word of Cadus at this point. And he's not sure necessarily, because some of that definitely sounds like Paradol propaganda in terms of the pincer attack potentially being, you know, who knows if that was actually a
Not
gentleman's
Paradol propaganda, specifically Hodgwen.
Hodgwing propaganda. Yep. Fair enough. But either way, it sounds like, okay, this could potentially be conflated in terms of the way that things are being approached. But he's still trying to assess what he feels about in this moment, and that's what that look is, basically. But if these reports are true, and if there are dealings with devils and with angels, that is a mess that Amulta can't really afford to get into.
Nor would they want to.
That's well beyond us.
All right, that's fine and dandy. Let's get Cadus to his people
Nope.
tomorrow.
Time to
Or
grab
next
them
week.
balls.
Yeah, you said we were done with the keep. We're leaving.
No, he whips him down and goes, "It's been a long time since I felt something."
Oh, Chris Ellen, where are you?
3 fingers, please.
No. You got to go 4 and then do a little dangle.
Gnome fingers, though.
Yeah, that's why you got to do 4.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and roll me, since you don't have heal or whatever, roll me the appropriate
It would be
check.
intelligence.
For what? Wait, what?
Intelligence is for the medicine check.
You gonna give him a +1 by ganging up on him? You gonna hold him still?
I will actually provide aid in terms of field medicine. Like, I don't have a proficiency, but like it's just the general. I mean,
Jesus,
what is
you
with
only
your
rolled 18s for skill checks.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I'm also going to do that. Okay.
19 is better.
They
yeah.
do.
And
Sorry,
then,
you were correct.
yeah.
Okay. So with a 19, you're actually able to realize, granted, humans, gnomes, hobgoblins, Karuk, you know, the orcs or whatever, they all have different physiological traits, right? There's no getting around that. But holy shit, his heart rate is slow. Like, as a gnome, your heart rate is definitely faster. But holy shit, his heart rate is slow. Like, lub, dub,
Yeah.
lub, dub.
Can I would even go as far as that, like, give me your finger, Cadus. Oscar, cut him to see his blood, to see if it's like, because I'm getting a sense that he's like partially dead, right? Because that's what's his face said. To see if his blood's like thick and like.
When you cut him, he bleeds, but he does bleed a bit more slowly than you would expect, almost like it's semi-coagulated. Also, there's a point, back to you in 1 second, there's that point that you guys just traveled with him for 2 days. He's had probably properly 1 meal's worth of food over that time. Back to you.
I was just gonna say I will actually be draining it into a small vial as well, and like.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah.
Creepy.
That's dirty.
What do you need with that?
It's his new spell.
This is in case we lose you. I can find you in a pinch.
I'm going to say this with respect. We have a common goal.
Oscar will hand it to him and say, "Only if you're going somewhere dangerous, you can give it back to me."
He takes it back and says, "Thank you for understanding."
Of course, that was the intention.
And for now, he'll pocket it. He'll burn it later. Burn it or drink it.
If he wants to, but it's just genuinely like that was Oscar.
I can put it back in him.
You could actually put it back in him, couldn't you?
Is it cannibalism if you eat your own meat?
If you eat your own meat,
Isn't that called
auto
auto-cannibalism?
cannibalism?
Yeah, it's auto-cannibalism.
Didn't know there's a word for it.
Yeah, it's auto cannibalism. If it's your own blood, no, because that's just if it's purposeful ingestion, that's a different thing. If it's accidental ingestion, there's not really a point to it.
I would assume it's something he goblin.
It's a hemo word, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is.
But auto-cannibalism happens normally when your muscles die inside, your body consumes it. It's not like eating it normally.
No.
But...
I meant someone chops up your leg and serves it to you like a dish.
Oh, you mean?
I mean,
like
I
what
guess
happened
that's
in
still.
Hannibal?
I guess that's still cannibalism. You're eating human flesh.
It's
right?
still. It is still auto cannibalism. It is still the intended eating of yourself, even though it's active.
That's
auto-cannibalism.
horrible. Can you think about that? Be like,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
my
it's-
ankle today.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's active auto cannibalism versus passive auto cannibalism.
think about the Hannibal movie. Which one was that? Number 2 or 3?
Oh, when he cooks the
yeah.
brain and he
Yeah.
gives it to the guy, and the guy's
Yeah.
like, I like this.
Yeah.
That was horrible. Chianti.
Yeah, Fava beans at Chianti. So good.
Oh, he just passed away. Oh, well, he's not a good person. So,
Wait, I think you're thinking of Sean Connery.
isn't that who?
Sean Connery died.
No,
That's
Sean
not-
Connery died. You're right.
He
That's
was-
not-
he was Thor's
He's
dad.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Like he's the one that does all the research on like COVID that you hear. Like you always hear about like the Hopkins. Like that's him.
Yeah.
That's him, yeah.
He has like a hospital here and everything. It's
Yeah. Exactly. He's the one that has he's such a good guy. Such a good guy.
So Oscar will have handed
Called the Tony report.
back the vial, but he will actually say, "Please do hold on to that. If you need me to find you in a pinch, meaning if you are going into somewhere dangerous and you are potentially going to get
I
lost
understand what
into
you're
the
saying.
Good. And just for the record, it was always the intention to give you the vial.
I'm sure it was. Sounds like exactly how I said it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oscar just shrugs and say, "It is what it is, man. You do you believe what you want to believe here."
Like, he doesn't
But-
argue with you any more than that
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
He drops it at that.
Good. Yeah.
So it
That
seems
is-
as though I'm the unholy half-dead.
It was a slow drain of blood.
Yes, it seems you are in between, like as was described. I'd be interested to see you fight. I look to Oscar.
If you'd like to spar, we can spar.
He shakes his head and says, "No. I don't know exactly what this means. I want to learn myself first."
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
I do have a history of privately recording Patreon combat scenes and releasing them.
I think it would be smart for you to speak to the people of Vigil before we fight.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wouldn't want to fight you in a position where you are still learning how to interact with yourself, if that makes sense.
I will
Dirty
say
whiskey?
this. I will say this. It would be wise for you to know your abilities if you do decide to go into battle.
But I think meeting the Vigilites first is probably smart, Laszlo.
It's his call, of course.
I think learning Octavia's fighting style on paper is going to help understanding it when the two fighting styles interact. I don't know if you've ever tried to fight. This is a stupid question, but when I learned to fight with a sword, I had to fight every instinct that I had fighting with a spear. Not because I didn't know how to fight with a sword before, but because I had been so heavily ingrained in fighting with a spear.
I'm going to have to interrupt you for a moment, Oscar.
By all means.
I was trained with a proper Perrin officer's blade, a bastard sword. And I was also trained as a young girl with a proper Perrin officer's blade, a bastard sword.
Fair enough. But being trained in the same weapon does not mean you're trained in the same styles.
One style was trained for parallel training, combat, blah, blah, blah. The other one was trained in preparation to battle parallel forces. Styles are very similar to one another. I believe I
say
have a
that now.
grasp, but I do agree that some degree of sparring will need to take place to make sure that the muscles are...
It's not just the muscle memory you're going to be working, it's the footwork. You're working with opposites.
Laszlo's smiling, and he looks at Oscar and goes, "So you're saying that you have to forget what you know and let it go to learn a new technique?"
I'm really annoyed with you right now.
I'm telling you, False is crazy.
I understand.
But he's good.
I am upset with you right now.
That's right. If it makes you feel any better, Will, I'll come in. I understand. Let's step off stage for a second. We can go hug it out in the green room real quick.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Hey,
there
buddy.
you go.
How you doing?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
we should have like a green room. We should have like a little, just a green room that we all have.
Yeah.
Be like off stage. Be like, oh I can't take it today. The stress of today, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good idea for the Lost Initiative after show.
Yeah.
Stop stealing my ideas for that show, damn it. I said Witcher. What are you talking about?
But you did? Oh, thanks. I thought you said Mass Effect, which I tried to do.
I did say Mass Effect.
Oscar will look to Laszlo. I'm trying to keep us moving because I know everyone wants to go to bed. Oscar's going to turn to Laszlo and just say, I hate that you're right, but yes. And I know exactly what you're referring to. But back to the matter at hand. Read up, because I think you're going to be looking at opposite footwork styles, and that'll be what trips you up the most. I think you'll have no problem with the swinging styles. I think you'll have no problem if you use a shield with the bastard sword. I don't know if you're strong enough. I assume you're strong enough too, based on what you look like. But the swinging won't be a problem. The defensive stances won't be a problem. It's going to be your footwork and movement, and you're trying to sidestep enemies because you are dealing with a bastard sword.
I just want to see how cocky Cadus looks right now, because it's like one soldier telling another soldier that how to fight and how to be ready for battle. It's just like two egos trying to butt heads right now, and there's three people here butting heads.
No, he's fine. Honestly, he seems fine. He's just waiting until he gets his next incredible, like he wants to get a bastard sword, like a new one, and so he can name it Rayron.
Yeah, I get that. I understood that reference. But how is he going to kill it? These are the things you didn't think about, Scott.
Yeah, you should really think about things before you say them. Thanks.
I'm going to say a blurb about how breaking weapons is superb.
There you go. All right. Well, that's a plug for Lost Initiative.
It's a different channel.
Oscar, so right now Oscar's carrying a bastard sword on him. It's not a Paradigm a bastard sword, obviously. It's a Maltese bastard sword, but he'll just say, would you like to take a few swings just on your own? We're in a keep that has a training yard.
He shakes his head and says, no. While I appreciate the sentiment and the insistence on my safety, I don't think I'm quite prepared for this yet.
Fair enough. Oscar just sheathes it right away without any...
It's funny, as you're sheathing it away, he kind of like almost says under his breath, I'm still trying to decide if I stand or sit when...
Always sit. Splashes less.
Josh says with like mouthfuls of candy.
Yeah. Can you imagine how hard every bathroom must be for a gnome in a normal humanoid world?
I watch my daughter. She sits at the very edge of the potty. They're sitting there with their legs dangling. Yeah. Daddy, do you want to just come and hang out with me? I'm like, Aurora, it smells in there. I know, but just come talk. And I'm like, no, dude, you're like dropping a deuce. Like, what's up? Yeah. She's like, I'm bored. I'm alone. Yes, welcome to life.
Oh no,
just for
Scott, you're raising a door opener. You're raising an open door.
She is, because she's young, but oh boy, that is gonna go away. Brittany and I have never, ever.
Oh, I'm an open door person.
People.
I'm a open door person.
Never. We are not. It's again. There's like because she's young. That'll be gone soon.
This is the most derailing I'm going to do tonight. But if you are alone in a hotel room, you know you're alone. Yeah. Door open. Yeah. Okay.
I'm comfortable enough in hotel rooms that doesn't bother me. If I'm alone in the house too. If it's a time where I think I know I'm alone, but like if someone might come home in the next if she came home 15 minutes early, she'd be here. I'd shut the door. But, yeah.
It's just you and your daughter.
Oh, I shut the door, but I don't lock it.
Yeah, okay.
I leave it open.
That's the
I'm afraid of not hearing a 3-year-old around the house.
No.
Like, what's going on?
Fair.
What's going on?
That's a very
it's too quiet. It's too quiet.
Like, Rory's at the point where if she says, Daddy, can I watch TV? I say, sure, what would you like to watch? She goes, I think I want to watch The Worst Witch. I'm like, okay, no problem. She'll get up, go inside the living room, press the power button, wait till it loads up, grab the Verizon remote, hold on the button, and say, Netflix. And then it pops up. She clicks the one that says, that has the design on it, goes and finds it, turns it on, and then says, Daddy, can I have a snack? And I'll be like, well, what do you want to have? I'll have a packet and some crackers. Sure, no problem. Goes in the other room, opens the cabinet, gets them herself. I'll be like, Rory, make sure you have a drink. Do I have to have water? Yep. Okay. Goes to the other cabinet, gets the cup, including if she has to get Brittany's.
All right, stop showing off. Stop showing off.
Gets the cup, walks over.
Mister, I am a 4-year-old.
So
So it's a 5-year-old.
So what you're saying,
that's right, her birthday.
Scott, is that
Awesome.
she is independent in everything except having to poop.
Yes!
She's definitely gonna grow up to be an open door.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I would say everything, because if Brittany puts out her clothes for the morning and they're inside out, she needs help. This is how. Okay, sorry. This is the last dad thing. If her pants or shirt are inside out and she needs to put them on, but like say I'm like, Rory, I'm busy right now. I'm getting ready for work, and she has to get dressed. This is how she fixes them. She puts them on inside out and immediately takes them back off, because by taking them back off, it flips them right side out, whatever.
I see no issue with this.
Right? It's not reaching.
That's really
over and
smart.
pulling. She puts on the pants,
Smart.
then takes the pants back off, and then puts them back on again. And I'm like,
Yeah. She's not wrong.
yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is that where you want to end with? Because we're just gonna head back to Vigil.
Yeah, we're going back to Vigil. I mean, we were going to do something with the keep, though, Josh.
He told us it didn't work.
No,
he literally
tried
said
to
it didn't
talk
work.
to Jeebus, and Jeebus was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
you had your come to Jeebus moment, and it didn't work, but we still have a flag.
But
And
where
we're-
we're going, that doesn't matter with where we're going right now. To Vigil, they're not that like.
No.
I know where the keeps are.
Yeah,
And to
I
Vigil is like.
understand, but we're trying to gain knowledge of how this works, Josh. You
I mean,
out
we
of
could-
game know how this works.
I mean, do you want to do that now? Would Oscar want to do that now? Like,
I mean,
because
realistically-
my fear, Laszlo's fear would be, dude, if we screw this up, we're gonna be across the country and may not be able to come back.
Oh, I'm just more suggesting that we should probably figure out what the processes are. I know you understood that to some extent. I'm not suggesting we necessarily travel.
I mean, literally, the process was
You guys could-
point,
you guys
like
could
the flag's
also-
not up.
you guys could also do that with what's her name?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The process is this, and he'll show Oscar. This is what Elijah did, and he's gonna pick up a keep and put it where the other keep was. That's it.
That's it.
And the flag wasn't flying, so they think that's why it didn't activate.
You just pick up the two keeps. That's it.
It's not like a big anything. It's literally
Well,
like it's an operator.
Mortis.
It's an operator.
It's simple enough.
Mr.
Ray can figure
Jackson,
it out.
Mr. line two, okay. All right.
Cyrus Jackson. I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize. Okay. A trillion times.
But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. There is no keep in between here and Vigil.
No.
Yeah, because we're like we're in the far east.
Technically,
Cursefall.
Cursefall is slightly closer.
Yeah.
It would shave.
And I don't think that's a good idea. We shouldn't go
Very
into
Oh,
it.
no. Ending up in their capital seems like a terrible idea when we don't actually know them yet.
Hod Gwen could work, but you don't know where in that city that is.
Oh, it seems like just a very fun and terrible idea.
Well, I would like to get some kind of approval from
You also would
Jaeger.
have to find out where the hell in that city their flag is.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do this and we only have one shot, I'd like to do it to the west keep and try to learn as much as we can about the experiments that might have been there, or not. I guess he doesn't know about the experiments. The thing that happened there that caused Ophios
How
to
they allowed Ophios to...
yeah.
throw again.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's perfectly reasonable. So
'Cause-
you're confident that it is just that, and it is having the flag up.
That's what was shown to us.
Okay. Fair enough.
And we're saying this in front of Cadus.
Okay.
Cadus is like,
And Kata says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I got word yesterday that I have to get up extremely early for work tomorrow. It was the message that said this ended with thank you for being flexible." That is
Oh, I love those messages.
yeah, it was like it
Love
was a
those
message
messages.
where like a fifth of the words were individually capitalized to add like
The emphasis.
emphasis, and
Yeah.
it literally ended with "Thank you everyone for being flexible," which means that's the
Hey,
that is
yeah.
it's done. It's
That
solid.
means, hey, fuck all y'all in your overtime. It's not overtime anymore. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's so this is happening. So I have to be at work 2 hours earlier than usual tomorrow. I was told yesterday. So I'm gonna go to sleep. Because I still have to get Rory up in the morning and get her ready and bring her to Mimi and Papa's house and all that fun stuff. So yeah, and yeah. Next week there will be no Throne Keeper, but only because fucking Canada has this weird ass holiday where they celebrate doing horrible things to people, and it's actually kind of an old. It's my favorite holiday of the year. Why? I love it.
such a horrible holiday.
I mean, honestly, it's not as bad as VJ Day, which Rhode Island celebrates. Like, remember this time we nuked them people twice? Love it.
Oh, that's pretty bad. Well, I still think one of them is on a higher level of death, but whatever.
Yeah, but
plus-
one of them stopped a war. The other one, it was like shock and awe. The other one was manifest destiny. Jesus said we could do it. Look behind you.
I just want to be clear. He's not referring to something happening in Canada. It's something happening.
Oh, we were all the same people back then.
No.
Yeah, you were also a British colony. Yes,
I mean, I don't think
not.
at that point
No.
that part of Canada was even colonized.
No, it wasn't.
No, because I mean, hold on. Spain was here first. And
That
then-
was south. That was like
no,
four.
I know that. But were the French not also here yet?
Yeah, but they were all in the Quebec area. They weren't in. They
but-
they had
To be
over-
clear,
So
to get to Quebec, because they didn't have airplanes, you couldn't just and like they had to move through the east
So
to go
here's
west.
the thing. Canada was first attacked, because let's be honest, that's what happened in terms of indigenous peoples. The indigenous peoples were here first, and then they were attacked by Vikings first. So most of the east coast of Canada is actually Norse and related heritage, and then Scottish later, and
like Norwegian.
yeah, some Norwegian.
Is it green there?
I mean, you know what it was? Listen, guys, I'm just
Some
gonna make a
areas.
point to end this on. To be fair, they thought there were demons there. They had to go. They had to check it out. They could not check it out. They had to resolve. The fact that they ate a bunch of mushrooms that made them see demons everywhere is a different conversation. That was an issue with ancient medicines. We can ignore that. But they believed there were demons there. And
So
they
I'm
had to
on
purge.
Funny One, and you could check me out. I'm a variety streamer who just started having good internet again. It's nice not to be a robot half the damn time during playing Throne Keeper. So I appreciate everybody that streams with me, guys. I appreciate you guys for helping me deal with that. And for the audience, that was horrible. You should see on my Discord, you should see how many announcements I used to have at night because it would just disconnect randomly, which is nice. But yeah, come check me out. I'm Funny One. I might not be streaming a lot next week because between now and the next 2 weeks, I'm probably gonna have a new baby daughter, which is awesome.
She's a Thanksgiving
And-
baby.
Yeah, she's gonna be a Thanksgiving baby-ish. I don't think she'll make it, dude.
I mean, it'd be pretty funny. You like, breathe, baby. She's like, this is your fault because you stuffed me like a turkey. And you'd be like,
I
good
did.
line. Good line.
It's just an ego boost, all of it. I stand in the back of the room after my wife does all the work, and I just go, I did this.
She turns to a nurse and say, world's most disappointing turkey baster.
Oh, that's fair. But yeah, come check me out. I'm still gonna try to stream and stuff like that because in the early days they sleep a lot. So I just might be short streams, like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then I have to go and feed a baby because they have to eat every 2.
What he means is that his wife has pretty good maternity leave, so he's gonna yeet the responsibility to the woman. Too.
Wow. That's my soul. Thanks.
You're welcome.
My wife has offered to do shifts, so because I'm horrible with naps. I'm not good with naps. I can't do like a 2 hour and then wake up and take care of the baby and go back for 2 hours. It takes me too long to get to sleep, and I'm not good enough for that. I'm good with like 6 hours or 5 hours straight. I'm just not good with taking short naps. So we take churns. But the first week is gonna be a little different because first 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
My wife's pretty well. I don't know. Last baby it was different.
With a baby.
Oh, we'll see. I
mean, for instance, you don't have to answer these questions, but if you're breastfeeding, is the baby latching right? Or this? Or the
oh, okay, that's true. That's true.
Mean, like you have to be Captain Dad. Like you got to be ready.
My kid, Esme was very colicky, which is not fun. Holy shit, it's not fun.
2 to 3 weeks. That I there's only one bit of advice actually I usually give new parents, which you're not. My advice to new parents is my advice to you as you become like a new parent is that a lot of people are going to give you advice that you a lot of people are going to give you unsolicited advice. Ignore all of it and figure it out yourself, like my own advice right now.
I mean, I agree, and I don't.
Listen, I got so much advice I didn't give a fuck
yes,
about.
Yes, we will, Anno. Yes, we will, Anno. You know why? Because there's a thing called breast pumps. Yes, we will.
Those are pretty awesome, aren't they?
They really are. So she can actually sleep at night.
And you can use it to like make food and stuff. It's so cool.
I didn't get to, she wasn't able to do breast milk the first pregnancy. So I never got to try it. Yeah, she didn't produce enough. And then so we supplemented with formula. And then the kid, Esme, didn't go back to breast milk. So her body stopped making it before it got to like the yummy stage. It was that.
Yeah, the thick, clumpy stuff.
Yeah,
the dense nutrient stage.
Yeah, the shit that's like super antibiotics and all that shit.
Yeah, that's again, it's about like 2 weeks or something like that, right? So
pics. No. I'll send you pics of the breast pump. I don't care. It's a breast pump.
It's creepy.
It's a breast pump.
Skin's so uncomfortable. I am getting uncomfortable here.
You want me to put it on? Come to my OnlyFans.
Hey, whole new world.
Oh no! All right, Josh. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Will, could you please? Thank you. Sit up high in your chair.
Sure. Hold on. There you go. Is that better? I can't see the stream anymore because it crashed for me. So, hi, I'm Will. You can find me at Will and Graham. Main thing that you actually can find for me is I am in the process of making a game with some friends. You can check it out over at arcanesentertainment.com. The game we're making is called Schism. It's a fast-paced tabletop skirmisher meant to bridge the gap between strategy games and war games. Meant to be easy to learn, fast-paced, as I mentioned, and then also just with the depth of the strategy to keep you coming back. So that's the goal. Check it out. We're going to be launching in early 2021, and that's my spiel. So that's me. Scott, the people have found you here. Where else can they find you?
Well, the bathroom alone, because that's how you do it.
With the door shut.
The door shut.
But not locked.
Well, it depends. If Brittany's home, the door is locked. If Brittany's not home, I'll leave it unlocked.
Good for me to know. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Oh, well, I got one last question before we go. If you go to sit on the potty, drop a deuce or what have you, and the bathroom, the bowl there is exactly opposite the shower. Are you the kind of person that feels it, and chat to you as well, feels the urge to open the shower curtain?
Oh, so and like check for somebody?
Not necessarily check. It's just like you have to have it open. I suppose to check, do you have to open it?
No. No. But that's, keep in mind, when I'm sitting down on a toilet, Scott, I am much more squatted down than a lot of other people are. So it's very like it's just a horrible and uncomfortable experience for me on 90% of toilets to begin with.
I mean, I live in a house that belonged to short people before, so I mean, these toilets are like my legs fall asleep. It's annoying. For you, it'd be worse, but
I've told you this before, but I'm the runt of my family. Like I'm the shortest guy in my family, and my dad is 6'10", and my brother is 6'6" or something. We lived in a house that was built in the 70s, but designed by my grandpa, who is not a tall man, and designed for people who were the height you would expect them to be in like the 40s, 50s. And
my height.
Yeah, Josh's height. And so it is just a very, very small set of toilets that I grew up on, and it was just more and more uncomfortable every day.
Yep. That is the life of somebody who must sit on a small potty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. We ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening to us have a shitty conversation. Poop smells.
Poop castle.
You know whose poop smells the most? Steve.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there was going to be a shot at chat there, or if that was still to us.
Oh, no,
I wasn't
no.
sure.
It's definitely Steve, and you know why? It's because he's from New Zealand. That means that Roz